All right, welcome back to Nadlin Forum Podcast Daily. I'm Ruby Sturt, here with my favorite real estate tech wizard, Lior. Today, we're talking about something that's kind of blowing up in the news cycle. And yes, it's not another Fed rate cut for once. Lior, did you see Realtor.com's big 2025 best time to buy report?
Yeah, I did. It was interesting. The whole idea is that the week of October 12th, 18 is basically becoming this magic window for buyers in 2025. I mean, more homes hitting the market, less competition, prices a bit softer. It's like finally some tailwind for people who've been struggling with such tight inventories, you know?
Totally. The numbers got me. So, mid-October, we're talking 32.6% more homes on the market compared to, say, that sleepy time in January. That's massive. If you've been feeling like you scroll listings and it's just tumbleweeds and panic attacks, October might actually give you some breathing room. Not to get personally tragic, but back in Sydney, I lost out on this dream apartment because I didn't clue in about the spring rush. Should have known when the open homes were packed with like half of Bondi. I guess these seasonal patterns, they really matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Seasonality is huge. We keep talking about timing, like in our old episodes about mortgage rates or even that thing with the SALT deduction. But this is a different flavor. It's more about how much choice you have and not needing to, rush into something that feels wrong just because nothing else is on the shelf. And decision making, when you have inventory, you really have power as a buyer.
Oh, 100%. Less take it or leave it deals. More let me think this over with another coffee kind of vibes. I kind of wish I'd known that before. All right, so more homes, less stress. But let's get into what everyone really cares about. How much can you actually save this week?
So this surprised me a bit. The report says homes listed in that sweet spot week of October 12th to 18 are going for about 3.4% less than the seasonal price peak. And if we're talking averages, that's roughly $15,000 off on a typical $439, $450 home in the US. It's like getting a fancy kitchen, reno, or I don't know, maybe even that second parking spot in Manhattan just handed to you.
That's so much money though. I mean, you hear 3.4%. It doesn't sound huge, but $15,000 is wild, especially for first-time buyers. It's sometimes the difference between, maybe next year and getting the keys.
It's true, and compared to previous years, that discount is holding steady, even with all the weirdness in the market lately. Like one of my clients, actually she waited last autumn when everyone else was jumping in over summer. She ended up saving way more than she would have if she tried to buy in July. And believe me, in Manhattan, people will claw for every percent they can get. If you can hold out through the busy season, patience can really pay off.
So it's not just a theoretical advantage, it's real, right? It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. People are actually pocketing those savings.
Exactly. And not just the price, but think about closing costs, inspection repairs, a little more wiggle room in what gets thrown into the deal. The whole math shifts. And for first-timers, this is huge, like you said, makes the dream a little less out of reach.
All right, so pick October and you potentially score more options and a financial breather. But what about all the people thinking, okay, if it's such a great time for buyers, does that mean you'll be duking it out with everyone else for the best deal?
Well, not really. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Buyer demand is slower in October. A lot of folks get exhausted by high mortgage rates or just, burned out from the whole process. So you're not seeing those wild bidding wars we saw earlier this year. Actually, homes are sticking around, on average, 2 weeks longer on the market than at the peak. That's power to the buyer.
Right, and more time on the market means, you don't have to show up with a baguette and a suitcase ready to move in the minute you see a place. Not speaking from experience or anything. Seriously though, it gives you that chance to negotiate. Lior, you've been on both sides of that table. What are your go-to moves when the market cools down a bit?
So, first thing, always ask for concessions. Sometimes sellers will cover closing costs or throw in that washer dryer. Also, don't be afraid to move slow. Use that longer timeline for a full inspection, maybe even a second one. Don't just accept the property as is if it's been sitting. There might be more flexibility, especially if they're eager to close before the holidays.
I love it. The old slow is smooth, smooth is fast trick. And not jumping at the first offer just gives you room to get the best deal, yeah?
Exactly. And with less pressure, you can actually focus on what matters instead of rushing. We've seen so many clients make smarter choices just because they had that little bit of breathing space.
All right, we're running out of time, but I think that pretty much covers why October 12th, 18 should have a big red circle on everyone's calendar this year. More homes, better prices, and you actually get to negotiate. Lior, any last thoughts before we sign off?
Just stay patient. It might feel like the market is stacked against buyers sometimes, but sometimes the right window does open. And October looks like that sweet spot for 2025. And hey, if you missed out before, there's always another season, right?
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll have even more real estate tips and news coming up, so keep us in your feed. Lior, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Same here, Ruby. Catch you next time.
Bye, everyone. Don't forget, October, seriously, set a reminder.